Okay, today we're going to talk about comparing a YZ250X and a KTM 300XC. There is a 250XC. That would be a little bit more of a direct comparison. But for ways, I think the 250XC and the 300XC are very close. I do think the 300 is a little bit better, but they're very close. So I think this comparison will be very similar in that aspect. I get a lot of guys who like to off-road, and they are Yamaha guys at the core. They really like Yamahas. Suzuki, Kawasaki, Honda even is not really in this trail game to compete with these bikes. Honda's just had their X's for years and just recently has come out with RX's in the 4-stroke line, but no 2-strokes. Yamaha's kept up with the 2-strokes, although they haven't really done many updates. A few years ago they came out with this 250X, and it's a wide ratio in their 3rd, 4th, 5th bike. It has lower compression. It has an 18-inch rear wheel. I don't know if it comes with much more different. Handguard's been added, a skid plate's been added to this bike, a larger tank. It comes with a larger tank, but this one's larger yet. Right, Brad? This is our buddy Brad's bike, and he's new to this bike. So we're going to talk about these bikes right here. We're going to have a winner and then a best bike in this category. And they, believe it or not, they're actually different, I think, in my opinion. So first of all, the motor. Motor is better on the KTM 300XC. Okay, so with the motor being better, when I say it's better, it's smoother and easier to ride for trail. It also doesn't vibrate nearly as much. It has a counterbalancer motor. It doesn't vibrate like the Yamaha. Now the Yamaha has a really good power, and it's a lot more racy, feels a lot more aggressive. If you're a motocross guy or kid coming up, you're gonna really like the way this motor feels. This one's been jetted a little bit leaner for up here in our conditions, and it's pretty dang good. We already know our XC is really good with our JD jetting and our Kian. So, again, I think this Yamaha is really good, especially for younger guys. The motor is really good. Now, suspension. Best suspension goes to the Yamaha. Stock, it's amazing. Really good, and I think you can tweak on it and make it even better. It's pretty dang good the way it is. The KTM, now in today's case, my KTM kind of wins, but I'm cheating. I got some cone valve forks set up from Racetech on here. I don't have my stock air forks, which we think are pretty dang good. Once they're done, they kind of have to be done. We get factory connection or Racetech to do them, and we like the way the Racetech set up our air forks. So suspension win is the Yamaha. Okay, brakes, KTM wins. Clutch, hydraulic clutch, it wins because it's got really good brakes, really good clutch. I love the way the clutch feels. Although the Yamaha has a really soft pull, I will say it's really good. Now, the next category would be starting, and KTM wins because it has electric start. Electric start's amazing. We all know that. That makes it really good. Electric start's easy. Now, if you're a younger guy and you come from motocross and you've never really ridden an electric start trail bike, I don't think it'd be a big deal to ride a kickstart bike. So, all those things, we already know that the Yamaha durability is really good on this bike. This is based on the YZ250 motocross bike that's been around. This is basically the same bike since like 05, this chassis setup. And then this bike's just been detuned a little bit, softer suspension settings, all those types of things for this X model to make it a little easier to ride. And I was surprised at how easy it was. Most of the YZ250s I ride are motocross bikes that have been converted to trail, and they're not quite as good as what this is stock. This bike is really good stock. I was really surprised at how well I was able to ride it, and it definitely is one that you could ride more aggressive. Okay, so with all those, I think the KTM's got like way more wins than the Yamaha, right? But I still think the Yamaha probably wins this shootout for most dudes because it's $300 to $3,500 less money to buy this bike than this bike. And this bike doesn't come with as good a suspension stock. So that being said, I think most guys are gonna be better off with this bike. Now, if you don't have the budget, if you're an older guy like me, you're in your 40, 50 plus, and you want just the best trail bike, then the best overall bike is the KTM 300 or 250XC. And of course, this is the 19. You know my opinion, I still think the carbureted bike is better right now. I'm waiting on TPI. I'd rather wait until they have a little bit more dialed in. So this TPI, this is not TPI, this 300XC is probably the best overall bike, but I think this Yamaha is probably the winner if you were going to compare the two. And if I was spending the money, the good thing about this is it's way less money to buy it. Our guy got this thing for around 6,800 bucks out the door, which is pretty dang good, considering he could ride it for a couple years and probably sell it for over $5,000. Easy. He could ride it for 2 or 3 years and probably still get over $5,000. He's not going to lose a ton of money on this. Same thing with KTM, you're not going to lose, but you will lose more money on the KTM because you're buying it so high. You're going to sell it for $7,000 in a few years, whatever it is. So that gives you an idea there. Both are great bikes, and you can see on a lot of the footage we have of us riding, they both could do everything equally. It was just a little bit more work on the Yamaha in some cases where you're having to be a little bit more aggressive getting through there. You have to ride it a little bit more like a motocross bike than the tractability of the XC that's able to just tractor up, and it just feels so much easier to ride on the trails. So hopefully that helps you out. I hope that's a little bit of a surprise winner. It definitely surprised me how good this Yamaha was. So it was really, thanks to Brad for letting us ride it and doing a video with it. It was really fun. So hopefully we'll check you out the track or trail soon.